you'll enjoy it a lot better. And you know what? That's how I look at it.
I think that's the right way to, because, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth as best I'm able. But I bet half your listeners are listening to this and thinking, what a nutter. But maybe not half on this show, but a lot of them. They're wrong, but they're here, and they're being entertained. And so they're getting something out of it, at least. And there's a group of them also who are thinking, my God, that new book could really help me because I'm struggling with this right now. And they'll be the ones who go on Amazon and get the book. So, it's a win-win situation for me, as far as I'm concerned. And the point of the book, here's what happened. This happened now in February of 2016. I see that the world is basically going to hell in a handbasket on all kinds of different levels. And I'm saying to them, they have been concerned about the environment, and with me and with dozens, or probably thousands of other close encounter witnesses over the years. So they will, I think that they would, darn, I lost my train of thought. I'm tired. Anyway, do you know what I was starting to talk about? Any information at all?
Well, yeah, about, how the book can help people.
Exactly.
And about our, ecology, our world of...
Yeah, and anyway, they were concerned about the environment. And all of these close encounter witnesses have this message, and I have this message. And Art and I wrote Superstorm based on that information. And so I was thinking that maybe they would come out if they just showed up for 10 minutes in an indisputable way. That would empower all of us close encounter witnesses, and we could go out and say, this is their message, you better listen to it or we're in trouble. And so their reaction was, they can't communicate with us, we're too scared of them, and we don't understand the gulf between us well enough to successfully communicate. And I reacted with, I'm not scared of you anymore. I'm not scared of you at all. You come in here, you touch me, you live with me, you interact with me on all kinds of different levels, sometimes even physically, and I am not scared of you, as you well know. So if I can do it, I could at least be a start. And here's what happened. Their attitude was, yes, you are scared of us. So I'm asleep one night in one of my sleep periods, and I wake up because there's something between my legs, and I'm moving around in the bed, and I can feel that there's something between my legs. And I open my eyes, and I think, is there something there? It feels weird. Is there something between my legs? And I feel something like a little hand comes into contact with my genitals. And I am out of that bed. I'm surprised I didn't go through the ceiling and onto the roof right now, boy. And at the same time, something very dark and not too big flashes out of the bed and goes up toward the ceiling and does go through it, and without a sound, and is gone. And as that happens, I feel something scratch me, and I look down, and I've got a big gash on my leg, as if to say, don't you decide it's a dream this time, you. And so at this point, I'm working with a group of people basically in the sciences in the academic world, who work on this and very deeply, and most of their work is classified, so I don't know what that is, but I do give them an ongoing story of my experiences. And so I send this to them. I send the picture of the gash to them and everything. They didn't say anything much about it. It took the gash about a year to heal, but that was the beginning of what amounted to a kind of set of lessons that led to the writing of the book, of A New World. They really engaged with me, and what is in that book is totally new. There's nothing like it anywhere. It's their vision, as I understand it, and I hope I understood it fairly well, of what we can do together to communicate with each other. So, so that was sort of the genesis of it. And those lessons, the last lesson in the book is from, I think, August or maybe even September. So, it's remarkable. They were not even willing to let me get a publisher because it's a good book and I could have gotten a publisher for it. But they wanted it out there. They wanted it out there on October the 15th. I got it out on November the 15th, and they seemed satisfied enough with that. But there was no way they were going to wait a year for it to be published. So they were eager for it to get out. I don't really know why, but it's out, and they seem, as I say, they seem satisfied with it.
What do you think the future of our country, our planet, is going to be 10, 15 years out?
Well, we're going to have more and more trouble. And, people who say that it's been politicized for some strange reason in a lot of countries, not just the United States, like in India and Brazil and Australia and the United States, it's, very politically incorrect to say there are environmental problems, and people get angry about that. But there are. I mean, you can see it everywhere. And look at Venice's, the worst series of floods in the history of Venice. It just happened in the past week. Huge fires in Australia, fires in Siberia last summer, fires in California. All this stuff is happening, and it's real. And people, for whatever reason, we have no effective leadership. We can't face it. We need somebody to help us because there's billions of people on this planet. They are wonderful. It's a wonderful place, and human beings are extraordinary. We can't let this go. We cannot let this go. This absolutely has to work. So,
well, we need something. I preach it on my show a lot, and some people on my list, or some of my listeners, love what I say. I get some. It says I don't know what I'm talking about, but we talk about virtually every night a few minutes about Earth changes. Antarctica. The worst temperatures ever in the UK in the last 100 years supposed to happen here this winter. Canada, the coldest part in the world for a few days. A lot of weird things are going on. The sea rising. And you know what? We stripped the EPA to nothing. And then we got some politician that says, well, I don't believe in all this stuff about Earth changes.
I don't believe it. I was amazed by that and horrified by it. I don't believe it. Come on.
Well, it's. I'm going to tell you another little quick story. I know our time's almost up. Your book that you and Art wrote. 3 days before, 3 days before, or 4 days before he passed on, he called me up and we were talking. And he was kind of upset about something, and we talked about his problem. And I said, I'm thinking about going on eBay and find the global superstorm. And he said, yeah, you could probably find it, but let's see what I can do. And you know what? The day after he passed on, I went out to get the mail, or actually my daughter went out to get the mail, and I got the book from Art.
Wow.
That was my first major cry in probably 50 years. That's
interesting.
But you know what? I'm looking at the book right now. What you wrote is now happening. I hate to say it. It's happening.
And listen, there's another book, Nature's End, that I wrote in 1984, or published in 1984, that's also happening now. And it's set in 2025. It's happening early.
It's scary. You foreseen the future, and a lot of people. And I hate to say Al Gore, could see the future, what was going to be. And for years, all these scientists getting on the news, getting in the paper, in the print, and saying, oh, no, global warming is not happening. Nothing's happening. It's, it's all lies. It's not. And I'm just hoping, seriously, that we haven't gone too far.
Well, I hope we can save this, because this is a beautiful thing. I've got grandchildren, and they're wonderful. And they're like everybody else's grandchildren. They're wonderful. Yeah. And I love them dearly, and I want them to have lives. I don't want them to be destroyed in some kind of god-awful environmental catastrophe caused by lack of leadership. And I just think if this works and the visitors do come out, it's going to change the world, because people are going to really take notice. And I'm hoping that the book is a basis, because if they come out, a lot of people will read this book, and it will give them a basis for understanding a little bit more about communicating with them in a way that will be useful and helpful, instead of all confused.
And that's what again, like with Terry Lovelace has been on my show numerous times. Calvin Parker has been on my show. Timothy Cullen has been on my show. I've had some major people that, claim that they have been abducted or implants put in or what have you. And they're all confused. And maybe they are the ones that should be reading this book. Again, Whitney, where can you find this great book?
Oh, it's basically on Amazon right now. You can get it in Kindle or paperback, and it will be out as an audiobook read by me probably next week.
Great. Yeah, everybody, this is one, I only got through about a fourth of the book so far, but I'll tell you, I was reading it, and it actually means a lot to me. And what Whitney is saying in it, I'm just overwhelmed with it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, there are not too many reviews on it yet, but there are very good reviews on Amazon, and a lot of people, Leslie Keene, the New York Times reporter, and Dinah Walsh-Pasulka, who's probably been on your show, the author of American Cosmic, and Dr. Christopher Green, who's worked with me, have all given it very nice comments. So I'm hoping it'll be a success.
I think it will. Now, Whitney, again, where can they find your podcast?
You go to my website, unknowncountry.com, and you can find it there. And you can also subscribe to the website, or you can listen to the free part of it. The website is largely free, but I always like subscribers if they are willing, because it's either them or I gotta have help I gotta have help. I can't do it alone.
Well, it's hard. People don't realize that. People, don't even realize even my show. They just don't realize it. The bigger you get, the more listeners you have. It actually starts costing you a lot of money.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, yeah, Dreamland is, I remembered when Art had it. I was so ecstatic that it went to you, really.
Oh, wow. Well, it unfortunately went to the wrong person. That he shouldn't have given it to me, because I'm Mr. UFO, and not many of the stations wanted anyone as weird as me on their air. So it ended up killing the show.
I think that's
but
changed.
not completely, because it's a big podcast now. Boy, it's very successful.
Oh yeah, things have changed. You know what? It's funny. My listenership is huge when we're talking about abductions, UFOs, Earth changes, and cryptics. If I talk anything else, boy, I could have stayed and watched TV and not even bother going on. So, again, anyway, I'm going to let you go, because I know you're tired. You sound tired, and
I am. I guess I am tired. I'm feeling kind of tired. And I'm sorry about that, but I've been doing a lot of interviews today, not just a lot. So it's been a struggle.
I understand, my friend.
The book is the book, and maybe it will do what it's supposed to do. That's my hope.
Well, you know what? If you feel you've been abducted, or if you've seen a UFO, or you're just really in ufology, this book is a book you need to get. And it's by Whitney. It's